Hello and thanks for watching. I'm Josh Overholser. This week at Otterbein is Capital Week as the rivals from Bexley get set to head into town. More on that later in sports. But first we take a look at a couple of Otterbein fraternity students looking to make a difference in the fight against ALS, better known as Lou Gehrig's disease. OTV's Susanna Harris has the story.
Otterbein students Travis Jones and Jake Harper are working hard to raise money for the ALS Association through becoming Iron Fies.
The program that I'm doing is if you raise $1,000 through my fraternity for Lou Gehrig's disease, then you do an athletic event that's endurance challenging for you. Then you become what's called an Iron Fi, and it's a very prestigious reward in my fraternity.
I did my event over the summer, but I'm also, one of my aunts had ALS and she had it for 10 years, so I'm just going to run a mile for every year she had it.
Jake has found many different ways of fundraising for the ALS Association.
Well, I've been really reaching out to as many friends as I can and family as well from both home and school. And then I've also reached out to some sororities and then my fraternity brothers as well. So I really hope to get as much participation in that as possible.
Becoming an Iron Fi isn't easy, but Jake is getting a running start. This week at Otterbein, this is Susanna Harris reporting.
And if you'd like to learn more about the Iron Fi program and how they have impacted the fight against Lou Gehrig's disease, you can do so by visiting support.ironfi.org. Well, one of Otterbein's most successful programs and athletic teams is probably the one students know the least about. When we think about sports, our friends over in the equine department on Spring Road may not immediately pop into our minds, but OTV's Alicia Lawson shows us how these riders compete just as hard as any other athlete.
The equestrian team here at Otterbein is one college sport that many students may not know a lot about. I caught up with sophomore Elizabeth Ector to talk about her experience on the team.
My favorite part is probably getting to ride a bunch of different types of horses because they're all different, and like we cycle through all the horses at Otterbein, but then when you go to a show and compete, you're at a different school, and so you're using their horses, so you get to ride all kinds of horses that otherwise, if I just had my own horse, I'd only be riding one horse.
Just like any other sport, the team has practice and lessons every week, as well as various competitions throughout the year.
That's what the equestrian team is going to shows and competing.
For Elizabeth and many of her teammates, the equine team isn't just for fun, but also to help them in what they plan to do in their future.
I would like to own and manage my own stables and specifically teach lessons to little kids.
Alicia Lawson, This Week at Otterbein.
Otterbein's theater department is set to roll out its newest show this weekend, Speed the Plow. The 1988 drama by David Mamet tells a story of the rises and falls faced in life by following the lead character Charlie Fox as he encounters risky gambles, movie stars, and other temptations. The show opens tonight at 7:30 in the Campus Center's Pit Theater. There will also be 8 o'clock performances both this Friday and Saturday, as well as next Friday and Saturday. Tickets are free for Otterbein students with a valid student ID at the Cowan box office. Well, from Speed the Plow to Halloween events to sports, there's a lot going on around campus in the coming days. Here's a look at some of those events in this week's community calendar. Well, John, it is Capital Week, and you'll be seeing these shirts around campus, I'm sure, a lot in the next couple of days as the rivals from Bexley get set to head into town for sports.
It is Capital Week, and we'll have more on that in a second. But this past Saturday, Josh, the Otterbein Cardinals traveled to Alliance to play the #1 team in Division III football, the Mountain Union Purple Raiders. The Tannen Cardinal were defeated 48-0 in a game where the team was outgained by 381 yards. Otterbein only ran 37 total plays in the game and only mustered 37 total yards. The Cards had 1 first down in the game, and quarterbacks Ben Sizemore and Brick Davis were injured forcing them to sit out much of the second half. Senior wideout Stephen Carpenter was also hurt on Saturday and had to sit out the second half of play as well. Sizemore and Carpenter are expected back for this weekend against Capital, while Brick Davis is questionable. Which brings us to Capital. The Crusaders come into the game with a 1-6 record. They are led by freshman gunslinger Chase Longwell, who leads the team in passing and rushing. They are a run-first football team and average 226 yards per game on the ground. Game time is set for 1:30 between the Cards and the Crusaders at Memorial Stadium. And if you can't make it out to see this great crosstown rivalry, you can see it streaming live here on OTV. David Kinder and Harrison Ralph will have the call. Pre-game set for 1 p.m. Well, the volleyball team continues to roll. Mona McDonald's girls are on a 6-game winning streak. The team has swept 3 of their last 4 opponents in straight sets, improving their record to 24-6. On Tuesday of this past week, Otterbein played Marietta at the Reich, and the game was shown here on OTV. After the victory over the Lady Pioneers, we caught up with head coach Mona McDonald and senior outside hitter Annie Junger.
But I did like the way that they rebounded and picked up the game through sets 2 and 3, allowed us to get some other players in, get them some experience, and just played stronger throughout the match.
I think we struggled with energy in the first set, but we knew that we had to bring it up in order to beat this team. I think we stayed very composed, and I think we all helped each other out, and I think we brought a lot of energy at the end, and I think we showed a little bit of pride tonight. We knew we had to come out strong. After beating Mount Union, we couldn't drop any sets regionally, so I think we did very well in that aspect.
This Saturday, OTV has double duty of sports coverage coming your way, as before the football game at 11 a.m., Capital will play Otterbein in volleyball at the Reich. That game can be seen here at OTV. Josh Overholser and David Kinder will have the call. Coverage starts right at 11. Well, the women's soccer team continues its winning ways as they defeated Marietta 1-0 this past Tuesday in a thrilling contest, improving their record to 11-5-1. Otterbein possessed the ball for much of the game, and the ball rarely left the Cardinal side of the field. Leading scorer for the Lady Cards and sophomore Jillian Strimbu would end up being the difference in the game. Strimbu would score the lone goal late in the game by way of an assist from freshman Erica Meyer. This Saturday, the Lady Cards will look to make it 5 wins in a row as they will take to the pitch in Bexley against those hated Crusaders. Game time is set for 4 p.m. The men's soccer season has come to an end after this Saturday's game in Bexley against Capital at 2 p.m. The men played at Marietta this past Tuesday, needing a win to stay alive for the OAC tournament. They ended up losing 4-2 to the Pioneers in a game where the Pioneers led 4-0 at one point. Otterbein's record stands at 8-9 overall and 3-5 in conference play, just a game behind BW and Heidelberg. Even with a win this weekend against Capital and Yellow Jacket and Student Prince losses, it would not be enough as the men were defeated by both teams earlier this season. So Josh, it's unfortunate, but the men's soccer team won't make the OAC tournament. But hey, it's Capital Weekend, so you got to go out there and support those Cards.
That's right, and 2 big productions for Otterbein TV. If you can't make it out, both the volleyball games and football games will be streamed right here live on Otterbein TV.
Make sure you tune in.
That's right. Well, that is all we have for this week's show. On behalf of John and the entire crew, I'm Josh Overholser reminding you to make this week at Otterbein a great week at Otterbein. Go Cards and beat Cap.